Hello and welcome to Wednesday's programme.
Good evening, here's our top stories tonight.
Talking politics over a pint. Nigel Farage becomes the first main party leader to visit Makerfield ahead of next month's by-election. So does he see Labour's Andy Burnham as Reform's biggest rival?
We are going to throw the kitchen sink at it. We're going to back our plucky plumber to take on the so-called King of the North, and may the best man win.
On trial in Manchester, the man with no medical experience accused of ignoring a nationwide ban to stop him carrying out Brazilian butt lifts.
84 marathons in 84 days. Remarkable runner Rob comes in to tell us why.
Could you tell me like what class she's in maybe, or I feel like it might be the most important thing you ever do.
You've got 2 seconds to leave before I call security, all right?
A classic boy meets girl story with a twist. We meet the cast of Finding Emily, the new film shot entirely at Manchester University.
And where would we be without them? World Bee Day today and some lovely weather ahead. I'll have all the details later on.
So first tonight, Reform UK's Nigel Farage has become the first main party leader to visit Makerfield, the setting for a crucial by-election next month.
He was there supporting Reform's candidate, plumber Robert Kenyon, on the first official day of campaigning in the seat.
Mr Farage appeared to say the contest could be a fight between his party and Labour, who yesterday chose Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham as their candidate. Our political correspondent, Leisha Manali, has more.
He wants to call time on Labour, and this looming by-election is his big chance. So the Reform UK leader was pulling no punches at this bar in Winstanley.
Andy Burnham says, vote for me to change the Labour Party. What we say, what Rob Kenyon says, is vote for us to change the country. And we think that's a bigger priority.
The big issue a lot of people associate with your party is stopping the small boats. But what would you actually do for the people of Makerfield?
What, make life fairer for them? That's the point. That's the point. A shortage of social housing. And in this constituency, goodness knows, no one knows, 200, 300 HMOs in this constituency, and many of those people will be those that came into Britain, frankly, illegally. So would that make a difference to people here? Yes. Less pressure on social housing really would.
But Nigel Farage's own housing situation has come under scrutiny, with questions about how he bought a £1.4 million home, and he's about to meet a lot of people on the doorsteps of Makerfield.
Journalist after journalist now has asked you about the £5 million you got from a crypto billionaire in Thailand. But what I want to know is, are voters asking you about it?
No one.
Really?
No one.
No one wants to know about it?
No one. I mean, they see this as media stories. By the way, if I've done something wrong, then they want to know about it. But I'm absolutely confident I haven't. Parts of his family have been here for 200 years.
This is the man he wants to talk about instead, Reform's by-election candidate and local councillor Robert Kenyon, a man who will now be put through all the intense scrutiny of a by-election that the whole world is watching.
You said you wanted tighter vetting of your candidates. Are you confident that the vetting here has been really strong? And do you know why your candidate's profile on X was suspended?
Look, there's been a lot of nonsense talked about this, all right? You know, accusations that he's befriended people on social media that were unsuitable. You know, when you're fighting a campaign and hundreds of people a day join you as supporters, you can't vet every single one of them. Are we confident that our qualified plumber, ex-army reservist, family man, and all-round good bloke is? Am I confident he's the right man? Absolutely.
Once seen as a safe Labour seat, more recent political history has given Reform UK reasons to raise a glass here. They came second at the general election, shoving the Conservatives deep into third place. And as for this month's locals, 8 council seats were up for grabs here. Reform UK won them all. But one of Labour's most famous faces is in the running, and the Burnham bounce could be hard to predict.
Andy Burnham is one of the most popular politicians in the UK. Are you worried about what his success could mean for your own ambitions to become Prime Minister?
Look, we're running ahead of ourselves here. You know, there is a big by-election taking place on the 18th of next month. It's the biggest by-election for over half a century. And we are going to throw the kitchen sink at it. We're going to back our plucky plumber to take on the so-called King of the North, and may the best man win.
In a few more days, we should know the full list of candidates on offer to voters. Nigel Farage won't be the last leader to hit the campaign trail, all parties hoping that polling day will bring them a happy hour.
And Leisha joins us now. So Leisha, as Nigel Farage said there, we have Thursday, June the 18th as the confirmed date for this by-election. So what's going to happen in Makerfield between now and then?
Well, to the good people all across this constituency, brace yourself, because I think the next few weeks are going to be absolutely frantic. By-elections really are like nothing else. You've got all the campaigning efforts that are normally spread around a whole country for the general election suddenly concentrated in just one area. And that's because they're also really unpredictable. You'll remember the Runcorn and Helsby contest just a year ago came down to just 6 votes. So every party is going to be fighting hard for every single one of them. And I think the fact that the leader of Reform UK was here today rather than in Parliament for Prime Minister's questions really tells you all you need to know about the stakes of this. It is a massive political test, and not just for any so-called front runners. All political parties are trying to find their way in this new era of multi-party politics. Makerfield is a red wall seat. It's a great way for all of them to test their progress. So I think come the 18th of June, whatever happens, this corner of Wigan will make its mark in Westminster.
OK, Leisha, many thanks.
And these are the 4 candidates who have declared so far for the Makerfield by-election. I'm sure they'll be joined by others in the days to come.
Well, next, and a man who carried out so-called Brazilian butt lifts on a number of celebrity clients has gone on trial accused of ignoring a nationwide ban imposed by a council in the northwest.
Ricky Sawyer was barred from carrying out the procedure anywhere in the country after Trafford Council was granted an injunction against him last year.
But he's accused of breaching that injunction and, in some cases, leaving women with life-changing injuries. Our reporter Jennifer Bulk is at Manchester's Civil Justice Centre for us tonight. Jennifer, first of all, just tell us what a Brazilian butt lift is and why Ricky Sawyer was banned from carrying them out.
Well, this is a popular cosmetic procedure, and this type of BBL, as they are known, that Mr. Sawyer was carrying out, is a non-surgical procedure, and it involves injecting dermal filler to enlarge the client's buttocks. Now, Mr. Sawyer avoided our cameras as he was leaving court today, but he was giving evidence inside court. He admitted that he has no medical experience at all, but he was charging around £1,500 for one of these BBL procedures. He said that while giving evidence that there is an element of risk with every treatment, of course, but that was always explained to the client. He told the court that previously he had used pop-up clinics in places like Trafford and Manchester, and that was for his more high-profile clients, people like Katie Price, who had mentioned him in her social media, and she was talked about today in court. He said that privacy was important for people like that, and that's why the pop-up clinics were used. Now, Mr. Sawyer was banned from carrying out these BBL procedures after several clients reported some serious injuries. One woman in particular told ITV News that she had developed sepsis after the treatment. But this 2-day trial is not about those injuries. It's about whether Mr. Sawyer breached the injunction and had carried on practicing. Now, the evidence given today in court through things like social media posts and bank transfers suggests that cosmetic surgery was still being carried out after May last year by a company called the Clinic Club. Now, Mr. Sawyer insists that was his company, but he sold it last May for around £6,000 because he simply didn't want the attention anymore. But the lawyer representing Trafford Council here today said there was no financial evidence of the sale of the company. He said there was no evidence of any money changing hands or, in fact, any legal documentation beyond a contract that was just put together on a mobile phone and signed. It's alleged that Mr. Sawyer instructed another man to carry out the procedures, a doctor he'd had dealings with before to carry out those procedures in London.
Jennifer, when might we get a verdict in this case?
Well, this has been a 2-day trial and the court has now heard all the evidence. The judge will go away and consider that evidence and will deliver a written judgment over the next few weeks.
OK, Jennifer, many thanks.
More of the day's news now, and a jury has failed to reach verdicts in the retrial of two brothers accused of assaulting a police officer at Manchester Airport. Mohammed Fahir Ahmad and Mohammed Ahmad, seen here on the right, were accused of actual bodily harm against PC Zachary Marsden in July 2024. Both denied the charge and said they acted in lawful self-defence. Today, jurors were discharged after deliberating for nearly 20 hours. The Crown Prosecution Service will now decide whether it wants to seek a third trial.
Police have arrested a 37-year-old man on suspicion of the murder of a woman in Liverpool. 68-year-old Rose Johnston was found with head injuries at her home on Ancraft Road in Dovecot in October last year.
The family of a teenage girl who died following a crash in Bolton have paid tribute to their daughter. Erica de Souza Correa died yesterday from injury sustained in a collision on Walkerfold Road earlier this month. Her family says she was just 2 weeks away from her 18th birthday and had planned her outfit for her party. They described Erica's happiness as contagious.
Well, next, the latest on the campaign to quash the original inquest verdicts into the Summerland fire on the Isle of Man.
Yeah, 50 people were killed at the holiday complex in August 1973. The Manx coroner at the time gave a ruling of misadventure.
But the Justice for Summerland campaign says that implies that those who died were in some way to blame for their own deaths.
A two-day hearing began today at which the campaign was challenging the island's Attorney General, who ruled last year that there should be no new inquests.
Our Isle of Man reporter Joshua Stokes has the latest from the High Court in Douglas.
Well, this is a real pivotal moment for the Summerland families, their first time appearing in court on the island as they continue their fight for fresh inquests. This morning here at Douglas Courthouse, we first heard from the lawyer representing the families, Stephen Corran. He spoke of the enduring feeling of injustice felt by Summerland's campaigners because of those misadventure verdicts given to the 50 people who died. He described it as a stain on the records, saying it implies that those who went into the building, the innocent victims, were responsible for their own deaths. Now, some of the families were present in court today, visibly emotional as key aspects of the disaster were spoken about in detail. This was, of course, a fire that ripped through the Summerland leisure complex in just 20 minutes, causing widespread panic and lifelong injuries, all concluding in verdicts of misadventure by the coroner at the time. But Mr. Corran argued that new advancements in scientific methods would, in their view, undoubtedly now lead to a different outcome. He referred to recent examples such as Hillsborough and the Stardust nightclub fire, both disasters where new inquests were held and different verdicts returned. Now, the Attorney General was not in court today, but he was represented by advocate Oliver Helfrich, who laid out the argument that there is a distinct lack of new evidence that will be needed to hold a new inquest. He then went on to talk about the misadventure verdicts and quite bluntly said that that verdict does not imply any blame on the individual and that the term has been misunderstood by the families. He also highlighted the key differences in disasters, saying the application for a new inquest is too reliant on comparisons between Summerland and Hillsborough, when this particular case should be seen through the lens of the Isle of Man. And therein lies the real challenge for the campaign, as there are slightly different laws and legislation here on the island, and that was always going to cause an uphill battle for the families, as it will now be down to a Manx judge to make the final decision as the hearing continues here tomorrow.
Joshua Stokes reporting there.
Now, like many people believe they've got a book in them, so many of us think we could probably run at least one marathon in our lives.
But next we're talking to a man who didn't just run one marathon, but 84, and in 84 days.
He's called Rob Stones, he's from Liverpool, and he came in a short time ago to tell us why he chose to do it, to raise money for a bereavement support charity.
He started by telling us how he's feeling after running more than 2,200 miles.
Yeah, the body's holding up well. I've had a good week's rest from running, so the legs, the knees are recovering a lot. It's time to recover now.
Tell us why you decided to do this challenge.
Two of my best friends lost a baby last year, which was an awful experience for them, and I watched that happen, and thankfully they're having a rainbow baby now, which is amazing. And we were talking about how in the third trimester a woman's body goes through the same amount of energy as running a marathon a day. So we were talking about this and I was like, okay, that sounds like a bit of fun. We could do something with this. And then we thought, why don't we make it a charity challenge? And then next thing you know, we're running 84 marathons in 84 days.
84 marathons. I mean, most of us would struggle to train for a 10K.
Yeah.
How on earth do you fit in all those marathons?
I know. At the beginning, we were looking at doing a couple of miles before work and then finishing it off after. But then being up that early, you want to recover a bit more. You want that little extra hour in bed.
And also hard work is getting bitten by a dog along the way, but you kept on going.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, it meant we had to do one full marathon on crutches, which I would not advise to anyone.
Most people, if that happened to them, would have just given up. I know that I would. So what is it about you that kept you going?
When you get to that wall, when you're doing a run or when you're doing a challenge, I like to use the David Goggins cookie jar method. And it's like you think of one thing that will just push you through that barrier. So for me, it was like my best friends. I'd be like, OK, I'm doing it for them. Let's get through it. You dig deep, surround yourself with the right people and you can do anything, I think.
And you were saying as well, you've had so much support from local runners who wanted to come and get involved and do a few miles with you along the way.
Oh, it's been amazing. So my local run group is the Marsh Lane Harriers. They're fantastic. I got introduced to the two-step guys in Liverpool, Two-Step Collective. They're bonkers, but they're great. they're just real good, positive vibes, which is what you need when you do this kind of thing. And then the 0600, even though they run very early of a morning, I managed to catch them a couple of times. So it does really help just chip away at it, because then someone else might come for the next 5, and then you find yourself just chatting, and then you look at your watch and you've done 20 miles. So.
And Rob, just tell us how much you were hoping to raise for the Honeysuckle team and how much you raised in reality.
And it was like, OK, so we're running 2,200 miles. Let's make that the target. And it's absolutely been blown out the water. We're on 11,300 at the minute. Because it's such a taboo topic. Yeah. No one really likes to talk about it in public, which is understandable. But I found that people are coming out a lot more now and chatting about it, which is great.
And you've obviously completed this challenge now. What's next? How do you top this?
Yeah, everyone keeps asking me. I don't. A week's recovery first. I think a strong bit of recovery.
Earned that right.
Yeah, a strong bit of recovery, and then let's just ease in with a 5K to start with. Something nice and easy, just a 3-miler, and then we'll see what the world brings.
Well, Rob, an amazing achievement. Well done to you, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's just incredible what he's done, isn't it? And Rob's also messaged us tonight to say that his friend's baby girl has arrived safely. So huge congratulations all round.
Yeah. On to sport now. And Pep Guardiola says he'll hold talks with Manchester City's chairman over the next few days to discuss his future. It's widely expected Sunday's final Premier League game of the season will be his last with City after a decade at the helm.
Yeah, that match at the Etihad will no longer be a title decider after City's draw with Bournemouth saw Arsenal crowned champions, as David Chisnell reports.
For the titles qualification, the Champions League or Premier League or FA Cups, is you decide for the reason you don't go. In the first moment there is a problem, the players don't follow you anymore. And always we talk with my chairman, when we talk Pep, what we're going to do, I said, let the season goes, and when will be over, we'll talk. But I think he deserved, right? And I deserve the first to talk about him. What do you have to do?
Well, with the 55-year-old's departure expected, Sunday's final Premier League game of the season at home to Aston Villa will be a party for Pep. City had hoped it would be a title decider with Arsenal. But with them uncatchable, Guardiola congratulated his former assistant Mikel Arteta on leading the Gunners to a First League title in 22 years.
Congratulate Arsenal, Mikel, staff, backroom staff, fans for this Premier League, well deserved. Next season we'll be back, the City will be back, and we will try to bring the team in that sense, that competing until the end, in the competitions.
The odds are that City will be under new management next season. While the club are yet to confirm Guardiola is leaving, one man who may also be soon moving on from his job is in no doubt.
Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to comment on one of Manchester's great heroes, moving on after almost a decade. So let me congratulate Pep Guardiola on all his success at Manchester City.
Now wait to learn the fate of the greatest manager in the club's history.
Well, David's here now. So Pep is talking to Manchester City's chairman. Is it still a case of when and not if he goes?
I think you probably have to say yes. I mean, you just have to look at his body language after the game last night. The fact that he didn't come out and say, look, this is a load of rubbish. I'm going to be staying for the final year of my contract. Now, there are supporters saying, look, until it's actually officially confirmed by the club, there's still hope that he could shock everyone. But I just think that's highly unlikely. Now, as well as speaking to the chairman, Pep said he's also going to be speaking to his staff. He's also going to be speaking to his players before making any announcement public. He'll be back in front of the media on Friday lunchtime. Now, that's to preview the final game of the season against Aston Villa. You would think he would probably like an announcement made by then, just to save him from having to answer more and more and more and more questions about his future.
OK, David, thank you.
Next, you're on a night out and you meet someone. You get their mobile number, but you take it down wrong and you can't find them.
Sounds like you've got experience of that,
Remember
Gamal.
the days, I remember the days.
Well, if it sounds familiar, there's now a film and it's called Finding Emily. It's out in cinemas on Friday and it's all filmed in Manchester University.
Our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore went to the campus to track down the cast.
Last night, I met this girl called Emily. Felt like time stood still. Oh, no, what are you saying? No fault.
Alicia, here we are at the University of Manchester. This was the setting for your film, Finding Emily. How do you feel now that your baby is ready to be released into the world?
I love that you called it my baby, because I also am calling it that. I feel pretty wild, actually. It's very surreal, this thing that you spend, I mean, nearly 4 years of my life on, and you're like, bye, call me.
When you said call me, let's just make sure the number's right, because this is what happened to Owen in the film. The digits weren't right.
What? Won't send for some reason.
Boy meets girl on a night out in the student union of Manchester Uni. He gets a number and he knows her name's Emily and he goes to call her the next day and it is missing a digit. He goes on this quest to try and find her.
Well, this happened to my sister, where
Really?
she got the number of a lad she really got on with, and she kept ringing it and going, it's not right, it's not right. And I said, that looks like an 8, try that. She's now married to him with 3 children.
No, I love that.
I love that. But it is a nice love letter to Manchester as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the writer lives half an hour out of here, so it was always her plan to set it in Manchester.
She's not here, so let's just say it was your idea.
Sure, let's say it was mine.
Run with that.
The music part of it was fun for me because obviously some of the biggest bands in the world have come out of Manchester, like the Smiths, Stone Roses, Oasis, like insane. Honour the legacy.
This lad is one of our finest!
You filmed this at the University of Manchester back in 2024 when the university was celebrating 200 years. It was the bicentenary year.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Did you know that?
I didn't know
Well,
that.
you
I'm so glad you just told me that. Yeah. We had great weather, but to see Manchester in like not grey and stuff, like I feel like in like films and TV, it's always portrayed as like grey and like, you know.
How was it for you filming in the Northwest? Because you're Australian, aren't you?
Yes, it was my first time here. I loved it. When we first arrived, it was still summer, so there was nobody here. And I actually, on my first day here, I walked around the university and it was empty.
It's nice that you came here on the first day. I went to the pub on my first day here, you know.
And Spike, I was so surprised that you're not a local lad. You're from Leicester, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm from Leicester, yeah. I was really scared because I thought everyone else going in would be from Manchester and whatever, and everyone would have a Parker coat on, but it weren't like that. I had the haircut already, and I was
Yes,
like,
you
you know
did.
what? I think it's a really, really cool place.
Was that one of the reasons you wanted to take the part of Owen?
No, I wanted the money.
Oh, OK.
No, I'm joking.
I love that honesty. You're like Louis Walsh.
Crazy how wonderful the music just from, say, Manchester and Liverpool. I've seen like a video of Ian Brown like, as a front man, just super cool.
Gary's going, what? Who?
I'll show you later.
Yeah,
I'll show you later.
She's all neighbours. You spent most of your time kind of dashing around like from Canal Street, Ancoats, Northern Quarter.
Feels like I know Manchester better than I know London.
Well, that's
North
not
is better, isn't it?
The North is better.
North is better. I'm from the Midlands, so if I had to pick, I would say, I would say, like if there was no line and someone was like, you were a Southerner or a Northerner, I would like to say I was a Northerner.
Yes, Spike.
Yeah.
And on that note, I'm going to leave it.
Cheers,
Thank you so much,
very
Caroline.
Could you just tell me like what class she's in maybe, or I feel like it might be the most important thing you ever do.
You've got 2 seconds to leave before I call security, all right?
Yeah, okay, all right.
The North is better.
Certainly is.
We agree.
Yeah.
And the weather's looking better too. Here's Joe with the details.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain. The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello again. Well, patience wins the day if you're hoping for something a little bit more settled. Good news at the end of the week. High pressure will be building in. Our weather will be warming up across the whole of the UK just in time for the bank holiday weekend. Lots of sunshine to come to round off this week. A few flies in the ointment first. We've got showery rain around through tonight and tomorrow and plenty of cloud. But from Friday, high pressure is building in and we have a feed of warm air coming up from the south, giving us above average temperatures as we head into this weekend. Now back to this evening, 1 or 2 showers around before midnight. Lots of cloud, it's misty and murky and breezy too for western coasts. And the early hours of tomorrow morning, some rather more heavy rain for the Isle of Man, North Lancashire, parts of Cumbria before dawn. Elsewhere, breezy and mild and a cloudy end to the night for all of us. Now, the sun will be up tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. It sets at 9:15 tomorrow evening. For most places, a cloudy start to the day tomorrow. Bits and pieces of rain around, something heavy at times for northern parts of the region. Elsewhere, a smattering of showers through the day, breezy along western coasts. But during the afternoon, improving, settling down, perhaps some late sunshine for the likes of Derbyshire and Cheshire, maybe Merseyside by the end of the day, and temperatures will get a bit of a boost later on for those southern counties, 20 Celsius tomorrow. Winds falling a little lighter by the end of the day, and then as we plough into Friday and the weekend beyond, lots of dry and fine weather ahead. Plenty of sunshine Friday, Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures climbing day on day. Bank holiday Monday looks dry and fine for our part of the world. Winds will be very light, and those temperatures by night are not chilly.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
And we're grateful to all the pollinators this World Bee Day, and we're pretty grateful as hay fever sufferers that levels of tree and grass pollen over coming days remain nice and low here in the northwest.
It's a perfect weekend for your camping weekend coming up. Sat round the fire, singing Kumbaya.
A little Aperol.
Indeed. Bye-bye.